Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for the second Technique Tuesday. So today we're going to be covering the across the grain on the upper face and a south to north pass on the neck. So just take into account that these are the passes that I do. If you need to change your, the direction of your shaving to account for your beard growth, this isn't like the way you have to do it. So you just need to kind of develop your own technique for your own growth, but this is what works for me. So my growth on my cheeks grows straight down, and my growth on my jawline actually grows from chin to ear. So when I do this pass, I'm actually going against the grain on my jawline, and that works for me. If I wanted to go truly across the grain, I would do something like I do in my first pass. So yeah, so just like I said, take into account this is just the technique that works well for me. So first thing I'm going to cover is coming in and starting the pass. What I like to do is I like to pull my ear, because that helps me get a skin stretch surface on my sideburn area. The angle I come in on that is relatively steep, and I do a blade roll similar to what I do on my mustache area. So just remember, you want to use just extremely light pressure when doing this. I can't emphasize that enough. If you come in too aggressively, you will cut yourself, because you are coming in with a pretty much flat blade. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. But I'll go ahead and get started right here. Oh, and I also puff my cheeks to also help with the skin stretching while I can't use my hand. And even when I can, I still do like to puff my cheeks just for a little bit extra. So okay, so that's as far as you really need to go. It just depends on how much you need to stretch your skin. More times than not, I'll just take that and I'll come all the way across. But if you need to get your stretch your skin extra, then finish that right there, and then proceed to. I like to pull towards my ear. Typically, when I skin stretch, I'm stretching in the opposite direction that the razor is going. So if you want to skin stretch, at a slightly upward angle, or if you wanted to like do something where you clear that area and skin stretch like that, feel free. This is just what I prefer. I find skin stretching in the opposite direction of the blade is pretty optimal, at least for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the cheek right there. Mustache, I really don't do anything too special. For the very middle, I actually come right back with a kind of more with the grain style. I don't like trying to go over that little concave portion of my mustache. So just keep in mind, watch your upper lip. You don't want to get the blade, so a lot of the time I'll bring my lips in like that. Just do something to kind of help get them out of the way. Also, a little bit of puffing definitely helps too. It I have a crease right here. For some people it's worse than others. Puffing your lips like that just helps out a little bit. And so again, like I said, just doing with the grain right in the middle. And then like I was saying, for my jawline, this is actually going against the grain for me. This works pretty well, as when I do my third pass, I just typically come up. I try to J-hook, and I'll demonstrate that today. But sometimes, a lot of the times actually, that motion is not enough to get this area clean for me. So I shave to BBS normally, but if you don't, then don't worry about that. But I'm gonna pull my skin up a little bit, kind of like I demonstrated, because I'm trying to get as far down into my neck area as possible. Not because of making it easier or anything, but because I am trying to go against the grain right there. So right here, the direction of my, the angle is changing. So you do have to have a slight roll when you're going towards your chin. So just slight roll right there. And then a little bit doesn't get shaved, but that's okay. When I try to go that far back, typically it gets a little cumbersome back there. I ended up cutting myself doing that, so that's just me. But if you can reach back there, then feel free to shave all the way back. For the soul patch area, I just kind of stick my tongue right in back of there to help create a flat surface, and then I go up. So I just gotta refresh my lather a little bit. Maybe just a touch of water. So one of the things I like to do, if you're familiar with my videos, is I keep a little hand towel and I dry the bottom of my neck, and that's because when I skin stretch down here, really don't want to be slipping. So when you're going south to north, blade angle is very important. You almost want to keep the blade, the spine of the blade flush to your skin. So essentially you want to just lay it flat, like that might be a little bit better, like that, and then just create a very small angle, especially when going kind of against the grain. Even on this cross the grain cheek pass, you want to keep the blade as close as possible. Like I said, I'm going to do a J hooking motion, and for the J hook, I'm going up and then finishing with my wrist. So this motion right here. Yeah, and that works pretty well to hook in, and like I said, my hair grows this way, so helping me clean up. One important thing to keep in mind when going south to north as well is the angle that's changing with your jaw. So if you come up, especially right below the chin, if you come up and you keep the same angle, you can see how open it gets once you reach the top. So it's important to roll with the angles of your face. This will, if you don't do that roll, you'll most likely cause yourself a good bit of irritation, especially on the neck. That's no fun, as most people have very sensitive neck areas. And then I like to go south to north on the cross grain pass, but if you want to do another kind of more with the grain stroke, go north to south, then feel free to do so. So again, I'm just going to do the same thing on this side, stretching with the ear, coming in. If you notice, I do put my index finger kind of higher up on the spine. I do this for more control over the blade, especially when coming cross grain. I feel like it's a little bit more stable, and I don't need to grip quite as hard. So again, like I said, puffing the cheeks, making sure I have a nice flat surface. And if you're soap is particularly slick, like you'd want. I have this hand towel. Let me just rinse off my razor real quick so I can put down my razor on my towel. I have this little towel. It's about this big, and I keep it folded in fourths, and I normally use this to cover my razors in between passes so that I don't get water on them or anything. But you can use something like this in order to skin stretch if your face is particularly slick. I learned this technique from Dr. Matt, who does sell towels like this, and it helps support his daughter. I don't know if she's still doing it, so I haven't checked out his site, but if it is available and you do need one, you know, that's kind of cool to support his daughter, help get through school. But yeah, so that's the chin, and as I said, I kind of leave that little bit just because I can't get to it. So again, gonna come in, make sure that razor is particularly flat. If you come in at too steep of an angle, you could cut yourself, and you could give yourself some irritation too. So again, gonna do the hook, hook, hook. So there we go. That is pretty much everything for the second pass. If you guys want to see something more on skin stretching and stuff, I can do a individual, you know, video about skin stretching. This was more just to cover more of like a little bit of the nuances and stuff. But big takeaways from here: make sure you're skin stretching, getting a flat surface. Always be aware of your blade angle. You don't want to come in too steep, especially when you're putting it on your face. You don't want to cut yourself. So always make sure you have a relatively flat spine when coming in, and you want to make sure you're following the angles of your face. So on your upper face, going from jawline to chin, make sure you're following that. And when you're coming south to north, make sure you are kind of doing a slight, almost like a scooping motion, you know, almost like a scoop right there, or supination for all my gym rats. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this one. A little bit longer, but a little bit more to cover at the same time. So hope you could, you know, make it through this, and hope you found this helpful. But yeah, leave your comments below in what you would like to see. It'll most likely be third pass, and then from there I'll start breaking out into more nuanced stuff. Those videos will hopefully be a little bit shorter. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming and supporting, and hope to catch you in the next one. See ya.